Hi, and a very good evening to everyone. Now, if you're here for Unboxed, you're in the right place. Do assist us in smashing that subscribe button, like this video, and hopefully you'll be able to catch some other sessions that we'll be running as well throughout this year. Now, before we start off, I think in everything that we do, I just want to give a good thanks to the good folks in APU SOMAT who's put together this session. I'm Leroy Fong. I'll be your host today. All right. The Unboxed team who has arranged for this broadcast, in particular, Mr. Edwin, and also Miss Debbie Liu, who has approached our speaker for today. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank Patrician College Chennai, our partner for this session, as well as our participants, you guys who are here today, from APU, UPIT, from Patrician College, as well as others. Now, I can't express how excited I am to be here, all right, to actually host this session, because today we have Mr. Rishikesh, senior creature artist with Framestore UK. All right. Now, many times when you're at the start of your career, moving out to the art and design world, it seems like a very scary place. You may not know what to expect. You may even feel a little intimidated by what's out there. But today, we've got Mr. Rishikesh, who will be able to help you guys and help us all to actually navigate through that situation, understanding what the industry needs, understanding the preparedness for an artist out there in the industry. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Rishikesh to the session.
Hey.
Hi, Rishi.
Everyone. Hi, Leroy.
How's the UK right now? Is it cold?
It's the end of the summer now. So, yeah, we are entering the winter. So, we can say winter is coming.
Winter's coming. A very good reference to movies.
Yeah.
Now, Rishi, you've have 18 years of experience in the industry with 28 visual effects films under your belt, two Oscar-winning ones, in fact. Now, it
Yeah.
seems that you have done it all. You've seen it all as a modeler, as a creature artist. Tell us, what is your favorite title that you've worked on?
So that's a tricky question. So I worked on so many, but I think one of my favorite was Life of Pi. And recently, like all the Avenger movies, most of them was one of my favorite. And then even the Golden Compass was a really good one. But I think Life of Pi was one of the pivotal points where it won the Oscar. And I think I was in Malaysia that time working on that movie with Rhythm and News.
Lovely, lovely. You know, when we all go to the movies, we're totally engrossed by them. I mean, we sit through the entire movie, glued to our seats, looking at the work that's right in front of us, and we appreciate all the beautiful imagery that goes up there. And towards the end, people still sit in the cinema. In fact, artists sits even longer than that, because why? They want to see their names up the rolling credits, because that's the culmination of all the work that hard work that they've put in. So tell us, how did you feel the first time you saw your name right up on the big screen?
Yeah, like before was never into this VFX industry, right? And then I always used to see these movies, and I used to see those titles and names of my friends who were very senior to me, and I always thought, oh, I should have my name there. And when I first saw my name, of course, like you feel so proud about it. Like you work for the whole year or for the whole movie, doing a lot of FX, modeling, texturing, animation, and then you just get to see your name, just two letters or one letter, one word, whatever it is, and you feel so proud about that. That's the achievement thing, that you are titled with that. So yeah, of course, like people are like, whenever there's a movie session there, like the whole theater is to be booked by the studio. And there was one funny incident where the whole theater was booked, but there are few vacant seats which were occupied by outsiders, maybe. And after the movie, they stood up, and the whole of the theater was sitting down, and like they were looking back. Okay, why is everyone sitting down? And then someone explained them that these are all the artists who are waiting for the names to be seen. So it's a really proud moment, and even they waited for our names. They sat down and went through all these credits. So yeah, it's
Lovely, lovely. I guess for that few people that were there that day, they begin to understand a little bit more how the artist actually feels in terms of the movies. It's not just wow, the wham boom VFX, but it's also everything that comes along with it towards the end.
yeah.
Now, Rishi, we're gonna actually talk a little bit about this journey. Okay, the journey that, and we're gonna ask a couple of questions in terms of your side as well. All right, in terms of how it starts off. What are some of the good practices that an artist should keep? Because you are living proof of longevity right now. You're living proof because you've really reached to a very senior position, but also that number of years of experience. Okay. Now, a lot of people say that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, but the first step is also not one of the easiest to take as well. Now, a lot of people would fear because they don't know what's out there. So, or how to be prepared, because in order to make that first step, there's a lot of preparation that goes along. If we want to go to the UK to join you, to see you, definitely we got to get in contact with you. We got to arrange our visas and stuff like that. And it's very much similar to a career as well. So what are some of the things that you think are important? Because a lot of people out there have this impression that if I know this software, I can be an artist. I know ZBrush, I know Blender, I know Maya, I know 3D Max. Is that really just all enough?
Yeah, so the thing is, now what I'm going to do is give all the students or whoever is watching this a map of what I've already seen. So I can say I have this experience, right? But then if I cannot share it, what's the use of that experience, right? So when I share it, what happens is I can save a lot of students from going through some of the hurdles. They'll still face those hurdles, but they can maybe minimize those numbers, or they know how to tackle them. So what I've done is, like as a student, we always, like if we stand straight, we can just see step by step, like how things go in your life. But since I have already passed few things, I can, like give you the eagle's view of
Mm.
how we can look at things on hand before. So let me bring up a diagram which I had made. So this is the one.
Mm.
So, can everyone see that, right?
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is not coming from any textbook, or I have not seen this anywhere. So this is my life. Like how I have managed to achieve few things, and what things could be better, and what I could have done better things. So this might help a lot of guys to foresee beforehand, at least at the student level, which I could never see that. So maybe like this is like a top view, like a map, so you can see everything together. So it's like nice thing. So I made this pyramid, right? So this pyramid is very dynamic, so you don't have to like have it step by step, like the base and then the middle and the top. This can be achieved at any time of the moment. So for me, this pyramid of an artist. So an artist is first a human, right? So
Mm.
he comes with values, and that's how he's accepted in the society and stuff. So of course, I didn't learn this in the beginning. Like I'm not a spiritual guy, but the thing is, I learned this later on, which helped me now. So if I can provide this information now, like like it will be really helpful in the long run. So I'll just quickly go through this diagram and explain. It looks quite intimidating, but it's very easy, and if we see it step by step. So this pyramid is basically how it's built, right? It's not the hierarchy. I don't believe in hierarchy, like because we have to grow together as an artist or as humans. So the base one, which is the dark green part, so this is what we are, as an artist. So basically, yeah. So passion, you need to have first of all passion for work and to do something in your life, right? So it can be art or any other field. That's fine too. Uh, of course, a positive attitude, because that's how you even look at stuff. Then in any field you need to have this practice and study. So and that goes even for artists. You need to keep practicing throughout your life. It's not like you practice in the school, that's it, now I'm doing a job and I'm comfortable. No, like if we have to survive in the artist industry, you have to keep doing it, and not for just doing it purpose. And it should be like for uh you know like a passion thing. Like it should come from within. You should like it, you should love everything you are doing. It should not be like just for earning money. Humility, like being humble always. Like however good you are, however the best artist you might become, if you're not humble, you won't stand anywhere. At some point, you might enter the industry, but at some point people won't like you. So it's always good to be calm, a polite person. Of course you should always talk about stuff, but that tone thing, how you present yourself, and then how you share your work and stuff, you should be real humble about it, because that will be appreciated by your peers and your seniors. So that's very important core value. And again, time management, super duper important there. If an artist cannot manage time, he'll always find excuses saying, "Oh, like I don't have time to do this because I have family, or I don't have time to do this for like because many reasons." Like so there are excuses which comes in. But if you, because everyone in the world has 24 hours, right? So it's not like Leroy is having like 48 hours in a day and I'm having 24 hours. No. So everyone has the same time, but how we manage the time makes us dictate things later on. So time management is again very important for an artist, and especially at the student level, because as a student it's very easy to go haywire and like sometimes not focus much. And if that practice starts very early in your stage, that might even carry on with you throughout your life. So if you can rectify those things here, like these core values, that will really help. Again, learning, yeah, of course, as an artist you have to keep learning throughout, sharing your work. lot of artists I've seen in my life who learn things but they don't want to share, thinking that that other person might go ahead of him. It's not like that. The more you share, the more you go up, because it's the good blessings which you keep getting throughout your journey, which gives you the good luck. Like I might not be the best modeler in the world. There are so many, but with these small things, that good luck chances goes up of yours. So that's super important in all these core values. If you can carry with you, that good luck points goes up for you. Like there are always a chance when we say, oh yeah, no, that guy has a good luck of getting a job. It's not just the good luck, it's his hard work plus all these core values and the blessings he might have got from his friends or well wishers. These things are super important. Like maybe for now you might say, like think about it like funny thing. It's not funny actually, but as you grow up and become wise, you understand this importance. So I think this is super important. So for me, this is the base. If you can develop these core values, please do that as far as possible. And then comes the second thing, which is like, as an artist, sketching, drawing is super important, whether you want to go into 2D, 3D, or any other field, because that's the again the core of the artist. Like pencil and paper, because you might not have internet, or you don't have iPad or something else, but you can always have paper and pencil, right? So you can always sketch and draw. So even there you don't have any excuse. You can always have a pencil and paper, start drawing, sketching. It can be characters, it can be anything you like, like from nature drawing to still life, anything. What happens is when you keep drawing, you develop your eye, you develop your brain of looking at things and understanding it, because drawing and sketching is very different. There are people who just copy, which is fine in the beginning. Like you can copy stuff to understand how the other artist is working. But then with the sketching, you are basically, free flowing your hand, your brain, and like trying to understand the forms. That's important. So the understanding and studying that thing is important rather than just copying it. So I've seen many portfolios where students copy stuff and put it, but as seniors, we always come to know that whether is it a copy or is it a study. So the study is important. So even if it's like a small hand, it's fine. But then if you draw a full figure which is copied from somewhere, like doesn't make any sense, because it won't get any pass on that. So yeah, sketching, drawing, anatomy study if you're into character, and then clay stuff, because then you start doing it in 3D. So if it's possible, always try this clay thing, and always have this habit of researching references. So like studying things and make your folders. Okay, so if you're studying a plane or a character, then make a folder called the same similar names. Start studying it from now. This will help you in your future. Like now I have like gigs and gigs of references, but the thing is, just having references doesn't help. You need to be able to pick them when it's needed, and that only happens when you start it at your student level, and then when you reach in your job level, you still remember, okay, I have saved this kind of references somewhere, I can pull it off. Because if you cannot pull off your references, what's the point? You spend more time in finding more references like that. So yeah, this is the second thing which I will always say, and this thing will always remain constant. So this thing and the core values will always be with you in your ups and downs. So first two things are very important. And then at the tip, this is the last portion. Like as you see, I have put two arrows, right? Which shows that softwares will keep updating. Today, like when I started, it was 3D Max. And then I had to, for my first big job, like in VFX, they were using Maya, right? And I said, oh, I cannot use Maya. So maybe I might not get this job. But then the director there told me, if if you're an artist and if you know the basics, you can learn the tools. And that's where it clicked to me. Yeah, of course. Then if it's just a tool, right? So they were looking not at what I have knowledge-wise in the softwares, but they were looking at me as, okay, this guy is an artist first. Okay, he can draw well, he understands the forms well. So learning a tool is just a tip. So that's how I got my first big job there, and that's how I understood that. And because before that, I thought, oh, you need to be a Maya learner or you need to be a 3D Max learner. But that's not important. This will keep changing. Today, now, there's a Blender. and there's Unreal Engine going on, right? So you need to keep updating that, and it's never constant. So don't depend on that. It's just a tool. But if you can carry the first two parts of the pyramid, this will always be there. And throughout this old artist who, like Picasso and every other artist, like all these things were super important. These tools have just come now, and like they will keep changing. So this is right at the top for me, but they are like small in portion. So it's not an hierarchy. It's just the portion wise I'm showing. So to summarize this, have your base strong, then have your practices and all your basic drawing skills and stuff there, and then keep updating yourself with your new softwares whenever it comes. Don't just stick to one. If there's a new software, try to learn that throughout your career. So that's my whole journey of how I look at it dynamically.
Lovely. I when you were explaining, there were so many questions that I have, in the back of my mind. I just wanted to jump
Yeah.
right into it, but I thought, hey, we better listen to more of this. Now, Rishi, when you're looking at your core values, when you're looking at the core values, I like the way you brought it together. It's like a lifestyle. It's something very spiritual as well,
Yeah.
and I think that's where you see the practice being very much a part of you.
Yeah.
As well. And one thing that I really, really want to know from your end is when you talk about knowledge and practice, what is the one practice that without fail you will always do? The one that pushes you forward.
I think the most important thing is your positive attitude and your mindset. It's all in your mind. The minute, because it's how you think about stuff. Like
Mm,
even in your, I always follow Gautam Buddha actually. Like
mm,
it many of you know. So what I've learned from that is like always be in the middle, even in your excitement times or in your depression times. What happens because of that, if you practice that, you can just be in the middle throughout your life. So you don't get excited if you're like achieving something. Oh yeah, like showing it to the world doesn't make any
mm.
sense because we are all going to die at some point. So if, yeah, exactly, right. And
Yeah.
even getting depressed doesn't make any sense because you are still going to live. So as well, if you stay in the middle, you'll always be there, constant. So that's the main thing I would like to like positive attitude comes with that. Like you don't have to compare yourself with anyone. You just focus on your work, get your positive attitude, passion for your work, just keep moving ahead. Don't worry about others. That's the most important core value I will have to carry, and this will always be there.
And I think that's what you also mentioned a while ago when you said when you start sharing with others, you also not just gain favor, but you actually gain respect from your colleagues and all. And I'm also very, very interested to really take a dive deep into your sketchbook because you've emphasized in terms of the practice, in terms of the things that you do, and you say sketching is not like copying, but instead sketching does something within the mind and the hand and helps you to begin to understand form a lot better and
Yeah,
things like that. So can we just take a look into your sketchbook?
yeah, yeah, sure,
Oh, lovely. And this
cool.
is a treat for everyone.
So basically this, like people might be saying, oh, I have to just show the best of the sketches, right? So it's not like that. For me, sketching is like daily practice. It's like gym. So you don't have to show your muscles every day, but you still have to go and practice, right? So if you see my sketchbook, they are mostly messy, and I have tried to utilize every corner of it. I don't care. If I have to make something beautiful, I will do it on a separate thing. But then this is what I practice. So this is super important. So my sketching is vary from if my concepts, or maybe I study a lot of characters, so I do a lot of anatomy study. So if you see, I go and study a lot of, and if you see my forceful lines and the perspective and the muscles, so this is very important. Like if you are into character animation or sculpting and stuff, like doing sketching is super important. Like you might just see this random lines, but what I'm doing beneath that is studying, like how the trapezius goes, how the deltoids are connected to the trapezius, and like what are these muscles, trying to understand that. So this is all the study which comes throughout the years. You just cannot go and draw something like that. You might have to study a lot of anatomy, which might look very structured, but then as time goes on, you will start developing the confidence, and that's where you start gaining this understanding of the contours, how this has been built, and the perspective and all the stuff. What is the thickness of this thigh and how it gets connected. So these are like the small contour things which we need to understand, like how this goes on. So this is the study, what I'm saying. So even if you show this in your showreel, it's good enough for the recruiter to understand, because the recruiter, even though they might not be an artist, but they'll always refer to their HODs and the leads who are artists, so they'll always show this to them, what do you think? And here is where we come, and then we check this, okay, this is an artist who thinks about the forms and the study and all the stuff, so he's a really good guy, or a person, as an artist. So let me just go through I have lots of them, so I will go through them quickly, and then Leroy, if you find anything interesting, you can stop me and ask question.
Sure thing, sure thing.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just switch off that drawing layer. 1 second. Yeah. So if you see, like I do a lot of sketching drawings or other poses, always try to go for the difficult ones, and because that's where we always get stuck. So wherever you get stuck, study it hard, and most of the times I've seen like students or even artists, we spend a lot of time searching for references or good references to draw. No matter, like just open a Pinterest or Google, type for some poses, whichever comes up, start drawing that. That's again an attitude thing, like where you don't want to waste your time and you can draw anything. So you see, I see draw a lot of hands and stuff. Like these are my studies, how I do. So no one might understand this, but then these are like the arm anatomy which I study. I keep writing the names and stuff. Learning the names of the anatomy is not important, but when you do so, you're generating a map inside your mind. So when you draw, okay, this is a deltoid, this is a bicep, and this is the forearms. So that's how. So if I tell you that, Leroy, if you can go to that particular place, you said, how do I go there? So I will tell you a map, right? So yeah, go to the supermarket, then go to the signal, take a right. So this is like a map thing. When you write things down and draw things, you're basically putting this thing in your mind as a map. And then when you draw characters, you will understand, okay, the deltoid always sits here, or the elbow is here. And when you turn, how you supinate and pronate your hand and all this stuff. So this is how you should study anatomy. Of course, it will take years to do that, but why not start today,
How do you stay encouraged over at the start of your career? Maybe you have not achieved it until this level, but how do you then continue to, I would say, encourage yourself to push further to achieve that?
Yeah, exactly. Because, when I was in college and art school, a few of my professors has taught me, like, if you stick to your basics, as I said earlier in my pyramid, if you stick to your basics, like drawing, sketching as a passion, things like 3D, character modeling, character concepting, and everything is like just building over that. You cannot have those things below that, So even if in ups and downs, like when I do a job, you will not always get the best of the creature to work or best of the characters to work, right? So you will feel down, my friend is getting a better character to model stuff. So at that moment, you should not think like that. You should be happy for a friend that, okay, it's fine. It's his day. He's got a better model because in a movie, if there are two creatures and there are 10 modelers, everyone cannot work on that, right? So either you get better at what you're doing so that you have been seen by the studio people, okay, he's doing a better job, let's give him this creature. But if they're not picking you up, that's fine, you keep practicing. That's what I'm saying. Like if you keep practicing, you will be seen sooner or later, and that's for sure. So that always encouraged me. So even if in my ups and downs, like in my studio, when I have to even get to model a rock, my supervisor said, why don't you find a character in the rock, and keep yourself happy? And I said, yeah, why not? That's a good idea. So if you're happy from inside, you just model that rock with a lot of love, And some people will just say, "Oh, why are you just modeling a rock or a prop?" But then eventually, because my attitude has changed, it's been
Mm.
seen by the studio, and later on, I get a lot of character models because the attitude is important. Because you need to make an asset, and it has to be throughout the movie. So
I think that's
yes,
very, 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 very good advice because at times when even when we say we have certain projects, we don't get the best of everything. We
yeah,
get when we look at it, we're like, okay, this is doesn't look very interesting, but taking it on with that positive attitude and bringing the best out of it, I
yeah.
think really be able to put ourselves out there as well with the studios and others. Now, Rishi, as we're going along through this
Mhm.
sketchbook as well, what was one of the most I would say challenging for you in terms of anatomy?
At first, as I said, like I used to just look things
Mm,
and draw, right? So what happens is, and then you keep thinking, why this is not reading right, or why is it not looking correct thing. So then, what I thought is, if I study the anatomy, I will know the landmarks. Because when you draw things, so for example, I'll just pull one of the drawings, right?
mm,
Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So basically, when I draw this, right? So this little bump here, I'm not sure if you can see. I have put a red mark there, right? So
that's right on
these
the
are
left.
exactly. So that is not a fluke thing or just a random line there, So that's the clavicle, So when I study, I have this kind of a skeleton with me, or like a character thing like this with me. So what happens is, when you study it from all angles, you see these small things, and that's how you study your anatomy, right? And that's super super important, like how the contours go and stuff. So I studied a lot of books, uh, and I think I have taken this class from Scott Eaton. Like he's a really great anatomy artist, and that's how he taught me, how to create this map, how to study it. And once you know that, you can always come and sketch, and then your vision becomes like an X-ray. You can see through bodies, like the bones, the skin, the tendons, the muscles, how they're connected. So even if someone walks, you might see that our muscles, they are not constant. When we do like this, our muscles start shifting, and that's where you understand those things. Okay, that there are three muscles make a deltoid, and when you move it up and down, how things move around, because it's just not the muscles, it has skin, fats, tissues, all those stuff. So this will come with practice. So yeah,
Mm.
anatomy through a lot of the legendary anatomy artists, and like one of my best was Scott Eaton. So students can always look at his work and study a lot.
Nice, lovely. Now, when I take a look at what you've just shared a while ago, it's really really cool. It's a culmination of life practices and something that you still continue as well, even to today. And I don't think you're going to give it up anytime soon. I can see that burning passion in you.
Yeah,
And hopefully for those who are listening to us as well on live stream right now, they can see that the first step doesn't really sound that intimidating. It's the things that we've been doing all this while, and even for those in college and university, it's in fact it's continuing to pursue that even after your work. And it's not just by the studio's paying you the money to do it, but because you want to do it yourself. You want to take yourself further as an artist. Okay. So and I would like to also understand a little bit more when people start off in the industry, okay, and looking at that journey right in front of them, they get excited. Everybody gets excited because it's something that's new, it's something that's changed. I know some of my graduating students soon, they tell me, I can't wait to get out there. I just want to go work. And, we can see that excitement in there. Like, all right. And then we try to keep the middle ground. And but somewhere along the way, motivation sometimes dips all of a sudden. It goes up, it goes down, and stuff like that. What exactly is happening to people out there in the industry? And some of them decided at certain dips, they just say, hey, goodbye, that's not what I want, and I'm taking a back seat in this career. Let's go and do something else altogether.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I said. Like if you're always in the middle, then you don't get excited too much, because what happens is, we go into a certain industry with a certain assumption, like, okay, this is amazing, I'm going to get a job and I'll directly start working on a creature or something amazing which will be praised and all the stuff, and then suddenly you don't see that, and like, okay, this is not what I wanted to do. See, the thing is, uh, being an artist and doing a job has to go hand in hand. Like, you can do your own thing, you become a freelancer, but still you are providing a service. When you start earning, what happens is you are basically not just it's just you're working for a client who has his own vision. It might be not good, it might be better, but it will not always appeal you, possibly. So what, as an artist, you can do is you can try and convince. That's what our supervisors do when they talk with their clients to get a movie or work on a movie. They, with their experience, you start convincing them. Sorry, if we can do something like that, it will become better. If he or she understands, it's fine. If not, you still have to do your job. And if she understands, you're happy. If she not, then you're like, okay, I'm a bit depressed. I don't want to be in this industry. Nothing is happening as what I thought. So you need to separate yourself with this. If you're doing a job, you're providing a service, and when you're providing a service, these ups and downs are bound to come. So if you are prepared beforehand, yeah, you will not feel the punch. But if you're not prepared, then it's like a shock thing, and then, oh, I have to enjoy in my school times and doing this and that, and now I cannot do anything, and I'm just like, like, suddenly you are like one employee among thousands of artists sitting around you, and suddenly you feel deprived. Okay, I cannot do, and you go into the depression mode sometimes. So to get out of that, what you can do is, as I said, you stick to your basics, stick to your core values. Time management. So when you go to your job, right? What I do is, I still, in my 18 years of career, I work from 5:30 to 8:30. Even though I've seen my colleagues working from like 8:30 to like evening to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, trying to convince or be in the good books of the production and stuff. I don't do that. For me, if I'm getting paid for 9 hours from 8:30 to 5:30, I do that. Then I switch my channels. So as soon as the 5:30 clicks, even if I'm moving a vertex or doing something, I just stop. Okay, that's it. I just stop it and do something else. I go home and like would go to gym, or maybe do my practice, do my personal work, anything. So you need to balance your work and personal life always. If you don't do that, if you just keep working for a job, thinking that I might get good promotion, I might get good things if I do more for the company. Yeah, you might get, but you are basically burning yourself. It's like a marathon. It's not like a sprint where you keep learning and you burn yourself. So if you want, it's like a journey, right? So for a journey, you need to be prepared. You need to keep your snacks with you, a water bottle with you, a big bag with you, and walk slowly and understand and think and plan a lot of things. But if you just don't do any of this, keep running, you will achieve your things very quickly, but then you don't have anything with you to go further. So that's very important.
Yeah, I noticed that's quite common, especially for young artists starting out there, because they feel that there's a need to prove something, that there's a
Yeah,
need to do, and somehow or other they do burn out quite quickly as well because of
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Now,
Yeah,
now, Rishi, I want to pull you to the diagram, the infinity loop that I remember you mentioning, and could you share a little bit of light into that? And because I think this paints a very nice, good visual picture, and I love the diagrams that you've done because it gives you like a map right in the brain. Now
yeah,
we're mapping exactly what you're mentioning right now.
yeah, exactly. So even this thing. So what I do is like, uh, can you see the full screen? 1 second. Yeah. So even this is the map which I've drawn from what I have experienced in my life. So it is not copied or not seen anywhere. So I have done so many models and character work throughout my life, but then not all of them come to the top. So let me explain this diagram. So as an artist, when we start any project, uh, it's like the first half. or the first start is super motivated. We are excited about things. We want to grow very fast. So when you start a project, you are at a super speed. You will do your model, you will do everything, and that's the fastest path, like which is 70%. You feel okay, I can finish this project and get done. But at that 70%, what happens is you might have already spent like few weeks maybe on that project, and then you feel, oh, maybe this is not looking that great, or it could have been better. Maybe I have to go back and do something to fix it, but then you don't want to. And then there's a small dip. If you see here, there's a small dip. So this is not a constant diagram, but this might happen. That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
So this is not like it has to happen, but this might happen most of the times. So there's a bit of a dip which happens, but your part for the journey is you keep moving, you keep pushing yourself. Okay, so if you push through this small dip and keep saying, no, I can push this project ahead. Even if I have to go back, rectify a few things, I can push myself. So you can do that, and again go to your 20% mode. And sometimes here what happens is it becomes like a plateau thing. So even in, if you go to a gym, you might start building your muscles in the beginning, right? Because it's very new to you. But when at the mid of your year, you feel, oh, nothing is building up. I'm not gaining anything or achieving my goals. So what's happening there is because you're doing the same thing again and again, your muscles are getting used to it. And same here, if you're doing the same thing there again and again, you get bored with that sometimes. So that's the
Mm.
plateau where it comes. Uh, so the only thing you can do is you can either change your exercises or do something else for time being and leave this apart, but don't kick it off. So this plateau might be affected by technical issues, as I've written here, lack of interest, then demotivation due to the same subject, and then maybe you might have family attention need to be there, like if you are like a parent or you have friends and stuff. So there are a lot of distractions happening in your family as well, right?
Mm.
You're not alone. So that is the plateau for me where these things might happen. And then you just feel, okay, I don't want to continue with the project, and you go to this big dip, like a valley. Like you don't want, like you don't know where you're going, you don't want to do anything, and you just fall into the biggest valley, the deepest valley basically. So for me, I have gone through this valley a lot many times, and the only way out is either you go back to the beginning, like if you see I've shown an arrow going back, and start a
Ah.
new project. That's fine, you can keep dumping your projects, you go to your beginning and start again, and again you will meet the same things, right? And what happens here is, if either you go back and start again, and the other thing is you can keep pushing the same project ahead by going back to your basics and rectifying and pushing it further. So this is where I show it crawling up. It's the most difficult part, because
Mm.
what happens is you lose faith in what you're doing sometimes. Oh, this is not looking good at all. But if you look at it from a different perspective and keep pushing a little bit, because the light might be just there. It might be just few more days of extra work, and you get out of the dark side. And as soon as you reach there, now okay, I have done the hardest part. I have reached the last 10%. So now with all these experiences and whatever you have dumped in your previous practices, now I don't want to dump it anymore. I will go further. And that's where you push, apply your experience, and you finish your project. And when you finish a project, it's an achievement, right? Whether it's good or bad, it's very subjective. You cannot say anyone's art is good or bad, right? But if you achieve, and if you are happy from inside, people will like it. And if you achieve that thing, don't just be there. So that's why if you see in my screen right corner down, I've
Mm.
drawn a loop. So after doing that, you start this journey again. And that's the loop of an artist. If you stop it there, like that's the end, like then you are not progressing anymore, like it will
Mm.
not help you. So throughout your career, even if you're a student, you are an employee, you're an artist, you're a parent, or you might be very old later on, maybe 50, 60 years old. If you keep doing this, you'll be happy from inside and you'll become a successful artist possibly. So that's my diagram of seeing at things, and how you can push out of these plateaus and the dips and still be successful.
Okay. Now, Rishi, I really like the way you actually mentioned it when you said that approximately 20% heading into the 10%. It's a climb, it's a belief, there's a faith going on over there that you can get out of it, and I think sometimes it's really difficult for people to actually see that light at the end of the tunnel. But one thing's for sure, from what you've mentioned in terms of the projects that you've worked on and the journey that you worked on, it's it's definitely, the light is there. The
Yeah,
light is there,
it
and
is.
that's something that I think would really be encouraging for everyone, because sometimes we are so deep into the things that we do, we are only looking at where we are and not
Exactly.
where we want to be as well. Now,
Exactly.
I really like the diagrams that you've shown, and I would like to actually very quickly take a look at some of the portfolios that you have, your
Oh
commercial
yeah.
portfolios, and I think from there we can see when that 10% where you're at in terms of that 10%. So,
Yeah. Let
um,
me. Yeah.
oh, oh, okay, all right. So the portfolio's up, lovely.
I mean, we're not blah blah blah. I never lie.
All right, lovely. Now, I was just wondering. I saw within the portfolio there was a little sketch that was made on the
Yeah.
director's vision for Guardians of the Galaxy over there.
You got it. Nice catch. Nice catch.
What else your sketch? Would you be able to tell us a little bit about that particular
Yeah,
project?
because what happens is like whenever there's a creature thing coming up, right? So the director sometimes might not have the vision, but he has the ideas. Okay, he wants something like a rat, like a mole rat. I have never seen that before. Then I have to research about that. So he's like a skinny, like a rat thing, like who has a lot of wrinkles on his body, and like he's just, I think, 4 inches or something, small. So they had that idea that he has these tentacles, he's falling from the space, and he's like attacking these Avengers, Guardians of Galaxies and stuff. So there's a concept art which comes up, and then what happens is, so when we do the work in the ZBrush, do some concept sculpt, show it to the director, they show it to the client, and then the client will say, "Oh yeah, when he opens the mouth, I want to see something like this." So he might have a tissue paper with him or something else, like maybe in a coffee area or wherever. He will just draw, okay, something like this, and we just photographed that, and like we were thinking, okay, this is what he was envisioning, so what we should do. So his thing is just to put some ideas which doesn't make sense sometimes, but as an artist we have to start visualizing. That's our part, right? That's what he's expecting or she's expecting from an artist. So that's where ZBrush and other softwares come in handy, where we quickly do something in 3D, show it to them. Maybe we'll even do some animation to show how the functionality happens, and how to bring this 4-inch reference of a mole rat into a 50 feet creature. So he's like a 50-foot creature there. So we need to see how the skin folds and all those stuff. So when you see the movie, you'll come to know, how big he is actually. So yeah, those kind of sketches comes through us sometimes, and we all laugh at it, and like, okay, but it's a vision of the director sometimes, so we need to think about it and make it work for him or her.
Definitely. And from that case itself, we also can see the way you apply references, you apply the knowledge, of the study all into that project. It's as if like whatever that you've done before that was just preparing you for that moment, for that project, and for all the other projects ahead of you. Now, I also noticed that there was some personal works going on in the end of the show reel. Okay. And I noticed that some of them were amazing, and I'm just wondering, how do you find the time? Because when you go out to work, you're already dedicated 8 hours, or at least 8 hours, or more than that at times, to the job. And how do you really find time to get those things going?
Yeah. So that's what my first point had come was time management, right? So if you just live your life as it comes, you will never get time for things. Never. For anything, for going to gym or going to work or like anything. Even at work, you might be a bit lazy, and then you keep stretching your work till 10 o'clock in the office. So basically, you're losing your time of your life. So for me, time is money. Time is very valuable, and I have to balance my work and personal life, right? So what I do is, as soon as I get up, my brain starts working of time management. Okay. So I have to reach office. So basically, I go to office very early. I'm one of the early bird kind of guy who likes to go to the office early, and I don't just start working. What I do is, most of the times, will get my sketchbook, start drawing. It's like a pre-workout. So you start drawing or something, get your hands free, mind free, get a cup of coffee, and then I read my emails or whatever the job is, and I plan my day, or I sit quiet for 5 minutes and visualize my whole task for the day. When you visualize the whole task, I know I can finish that task by 5:30. And when you do that, you will finish it. I'm sure you will finish it. But a lot of guys don't do that, and then they keep fiddling. They don't plan. They have longer breaks for smoking or lunch or whatever, and you're losing time. Like every half an hour, you're losing time, and builds up. At the end, you're losing 3 or 4 hours. But when I finish my work by 5:30, as I said, even if I'm moving a vertex in the modeling, I just stop. That's my done. And the thing is, because I have planned my stuff, my production, they don't complain because, oh, Rishi has done his job. So what makes me look in front of them is not like others. Like they take me as an efficient artist, So rather than sitting late, doesn't prove that you're efficient. It mostly shows that you're doing a lot of work, so you're not efficient. You're basically costing to the studio. So they might like it. They're okay with that. That's fine. Okay, he's working extra for us with the same pay. They don't mind. Yeah, but Rishi is working on time. He's leaving. We still need people like them, or like Rishi, who do things efficiently. Right? So the studio or the company is okay with anything. But as an artist, if you think what I am thinking right now, you might save a lot of time. Then you come home, switch off. As soon as I get out of my studio, I don't think about work or the official work. I think about what to do with my health, or maybe go and study some new software, or do something else, post something on Instagram, or do something which is very different from what I do the last 10 hours in office or 8 hours in office. So this is very important. If you don't manage time, you will never get time. So I really, really want to emphasize on this point for students, that if they can manage time from now, it will be really helpful for them in future when they get a job. They know how to manage things, and they might find success very soon.
Lovely. I like the way you said it. You said visualize all the work that you need to do in that day, and you'll get it
Yeah,
complete.
yeah,
At times we don't even think about it. It's like, okay, I got work. I'm going to start right now. I'm just going to make sure I complete it. But we don't visualize the things that we need to do step by step. And I think that's really beautiful, because it puts a whole time management into something that is very tangible as an artist, because we're very visual people. So we got to
exactly.
visualize it in our brain as well.
Yeah.
Now, and we're going a little bit off topic, but something
Mhm,
a bit similar. We're going to take a look at a time lapse that you have done, all right,
mhm.
of the work that you put in. So let's take a look at that. All right. Now, Rishi, I know it's a time lapse. Things will fast and all, but everything that you mentioned in terms of the knowledge, the practice, the anatomy study, the form, everything is put right into there. And of course, to top it off, the time management to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
in those two time lapse that we saw, I believe they're not just your personal work, but work that you've also made for NFT as well, and that's something I really want to pull right in to get some of your thoughts, because we're talking about visual effects, and on the sideline we're talking about NFTs, which are, I would say, although the acronyms are three alphabets, but totally different things. But what's your take on NFTs?
Yeah, so the thing is, it has not changed my life, right? As I said, like if you keep focus on what you're doing and keep doing, these things will start coming. Today is NFT, tomorrow might be something else, right? So while I was posting, the thing is, during this COVID period, right, I do a lot of my personal work, but I never used to be much of a social media guy. I never used
Mm,
to post on Instagram and stuff. But after this 1 year at home, I and my wife said, like, why don't you motivate yourself and like start posting your work. But I said, no, I do my projects which take 2 or 3 months. So, but then she convinced me to start going to Instagram and start posting about. So I started with sketching and my old works, and people liked it. They started following me. They started asking questions and stuff. So then I thought, okay, why don't I start posting it regularly? Like it will be helpful for me. Like I can practice stuff. I can keep myself motivated in this COVID times as well. So even at home when I work for my studio, like work from home, I still shut down at 5:30. Right.
mm,
so it's easy to keep working and keep impressing your bosses, but then I still follow my same rules. So that's what's important. So I stop my work and I switch. So on the opposite side of this computer is my office computer, and this is my personal work. So I switch at 5:30. I come here and start doing my stuff. So recently, like I think around March 2021, when I was posting on Instagram, I found these people, like other artists are posting about NFTs and stuff, and I didn't have any clue about it. But then my friend who is into this cryptocurrency stuff, he started
mhm,
explaining, this is going to be the next big thing like internet. So, and it's here for a long, long time now. So it's going to be like a non-fungible token, right? So it's like
mm,
authenticating your work on a blockchain. So when you do something, even you can even copy my work, you can download it and save it on a computer, but it is not yours. But
mm,
on a blockchain, it gets an authenticity, like, okay, this is the artist who has done it, and this is the guy who has bought it or collected it by paying an n number of amount in the cryptocurrency, which is Ethereum. So
mm,
Ethereum is used for this NFT stuff to do the transactions. It has started with this thing, but it's a very big thing, like this crypto thing. So I'm sure it has opened doors for artists now, because now my personal work, if they are meant for someone, then it can go to the portfolio. But if it's just for my personal work, I can push it to NFTs. It's like minting your work on a certain platform and showcasing it to the world. And there are chances that when millions of people see your work, there might be few who like to collect it or buy it or take it from you for some many uses. So what I did is, like, I studied this NFTs and what's happening in the trend, and I came up with this Doge. I heard about this Dogecoin. I said, like, he's
mm,
like a very funny cryptocurrency actually. But then there's a meme which is like a world famous thing, like the Doge. So he's like a dog who got that name, and that cryptocurrency got that name from that dog. So what I thought is, okay, because Bitcoin is quite up, like it's the
mm,
biggest cryptocurrency, and Dogecoin is at the bottom, but it's like made fun of a lot, and it's. So what I thought of making a meme where Dogecoin is sitting on a diamond, and then he's putting a Bitcoin in his hand as to reach to that point where Dogecoin should be like a Bitcoin. So something, an idea basically, and I minted that onto my foundation NFT,
mhm,
uh, and I didn't thought about that people might like it or buy it. I just did it for my fun purpose. So after a few weeks, I saw there was a bid Suddenly one day when I got up and I said, oh, there's a bid on your work, and I was like super excited, like, okay, cool, that's really nice. So I think the soccer guy, which you must have seen in my time lapse, so Quincy, he's from US, so he's into this NFT. So a lot of big celebrities are into this NFTs, and if they like anything, they bid on your stuff. So he bid on my work, my first work, and he liked it. Then I did second one. He bought that second one as well, and like each went for around like $2,000, $3,000, like NFT cryptocurrency if you convert that into. And then I thought of making a portrait of him as well, and he even bought that. Like, so that's how it started growing. And then I started making portraits in 2 weeks time. So my time management is okay. I don't want to sit on a project and work for 3 months. After my office, if I work for 2 weeks, I should finish a portrait and put it on NFT. Even if it sells, not sell, it doesn't matter, because it's all subjective. So you shouldn't be comparing your work with anyone and stuff. You should just do it out of passion and love. And this is just a platform where, if you're lucky and if people like your work, your work might be sold, for a good amount. There are people who have already become millionaires. So, but don't think about money. If you think about money, then you don't create good art. If you create good art, money will follow you. So it might be sooner or it might be later, but it will come. But if a lot of my friends whose work didn't get sold for a long time, they have opted out of this thing, which is, for me, like, don't work for NFT, because you are not doing a job, right? It's for fun. So do it, build your portfolio in NFT, and you never know, one particular day all of your stuff might be sold off, like. So just do it for fun, and it's a really good doors open for all the artists, basically, to get into this. You mint your work, and it can be an earning source, but don't make it a bread and butter, because then you keep thinking about that. We don't want to think about money. We want to think about creating new and amazing stuff. Money will start following you. So that's my only last thing to say about that.
I definitely agree with that, because when you chase after money, at the end of the day, it's money that you get. But if you chase after the art, at the end of the day, it's the art that you get, and that thing will follow you to the end. I think that's really, really very insightful, and I think it knows. And how NFT has gone about is that it's starting to give a lot of credits to creators, and I think that's where we see most of our digital work, because most of us work on the digital form. We don't necessarily see the end product like industrial design, whereby you have something tangible to hold. And I think NFT is one of that we can see it as a form of tangible, a digital tangible on the blockchain. Now, I just want to thank you as well, Rishi, for having this conversation with me. But what we're going to do is we also want to listen to some of our audiences. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to pick we're going to take some questions and answers during this period of time. Okay, so for those who are online right now, please feel free to drop us questions. We'll start picking them up. Now, we may not be able to get through everybody's question, but we'll try to get through. Okay, we'll try to get through. If we don't, please don't dislike us. Please don't dislike us that much. But just know that we want to try to keep this session robust as well, because some of your questions might be overlapping with others. Okay, so we'll take questions. Now, as we wait for some of the questions, Rishi, I also have one of my own, which I've thought of that I really wanted to know. I think it's not just a discipline to say, hey, I'm going to clock off at 5:30, but it's really also at a certain level of confidence. And I think, how did you build towards that confidence, saying that, hey, stop there, it's enough, I'm going to do my personal work now in studio, because it's not an easy thing as well, right? At the first time you did it.
Yeah, it never started like that. It's a very funny thing, because when I was in India working for a studio, I had to travel a lot. Okay, so like I had my car, but still, I had to face the traffic and everything, and you know how bad it is in Asian countries where the traffic is too much. And me and my wife worked for the same studio at that time, and then we used to travel. So after 5:30, the traffic in India goes crazy. So if I leave office after 5:30, I reach home by 9 o'clock. the distance between the office and my home is just half an hour, but it takes me 3 hours to reach. So I'm wasting my time in the car, and it's not been utilized. So at that time, I thought, I need to start managing my time. I need to go early when there is less crowd and less people around me. I don't want to get distracted in the morning. I plan my stuff, visualize my whole thing, and see and try my best to finish. Of course, when I'm saying 5:30, it doesn't always end at 5:30. It might extend to maybe 5:45, 6 o'clock, but I don't make it a habit of sitting late. I try to be so when I visualize the whole thing throughout the day, 90% of the time it gets done, and I was doing it for my purpose, like so that I can avoid traffic and stuff. But then I realized I was actually getting myself or making myself efficient by doing stuff quickly, focusing on stuff because I don't want to waste time. I'm focusing now. I'm focusing, right? This is the fourth thing which I've learned through experience. But if I can share this to all the students or whoever wants to listen to my experience, they can say all this stuff because at some point they will go through this. I'm sure everyone will go through this. Time management is an issue for everyone. I have friends in my office or colleagues there who even tell me, how do you leave at 5:30? Because when I get up in the office, like there are 300 people sitting on that floor. I'm the only one standing up and leaving the office, So people are saying, why are you leaving so early? I said, I'm leaving on time, not early, man. So you don't budge me. And I finish my work. It's not like I'm leaving it alone. So I finished my work, I'm leaving on time. So that's important. That habit keeps with you always, and then people keep thinking how Rishi does that. But the thing is, these are simple things. Humans make it complex and then, cry about it that, oh, I cannot manage time. Because everyone has issues in their life. Everyone. So
Definitely. And just one follow-up question to that is that I think the pandemic has allowed a lot of people to actually work from home and cutting down that traveling time as well. But have opportunities actually shrunk during this period of time?
I feel the opportunities have grown up.
Oh, okay.
It's just growing up. Basically, what happening is now in London when they want to hire people now because it's work from home. Because previously VFX studios never allow working from home because of the confidentiality and all the work which cannot be shared at home and stuff. But now this pandemic stuff has allowed us to work from home. So when now they are hiring people, their range or the radar has grown globally. So they are not just looking for people from Europe or like people who are really experienced, because now they can reach people at home. They can hire anyone. So because if you have to hire someone who has to come to London, they have to make the visa process and everything. So it's a long process, right? It's a drilling process. So now they can just hire anyone around the globe and they can send their setup box and then you can start working from there. You can start using their computers through that setup box thing. So it's becoming much easier for them to hire more people and they save on the space as well, right? So if in office you can have 1,000 people, but then if you can still connect to a lot of people work from home, they can have more 1,000 people. And then different countries will have their own salaries and structure, so that helps the studios in UK, US to hire more. So I feel that the opportunities are growing actually.
Lovely. So you see, I think that's something that many people would have thought that it's shrinking because things are not moving along. But even in this time of COVID and all, and the pandemic, we see our industry actually growing. And I think that's a really great positive. I think there's a question that was posted right here by Mr. Nabil Hussein. How do you keep yourself motivated during an art block?
So when you get an art block, right, basically it's like you don't know what to do ahead. You don't hit your head on that block. You either move the block or you move around that block, right? And by what I mean is, like, if you're stuck somewhere, maybe you can start something new. You don't throw this away, you start something new, and you can get back to it with a different perspective later on. You know, So I always revisit my old work sometimes and keep doing it. But if I'm stuck somewhere, I don't ponder about it there for a long time. Maybe a couple of days. Okay, it's not working. Fine. I'll find something else which motivates me and go ahead. So basically, if there's a block, if you're stuck here, you don't keep banging your head there. You just come aside, go ahead. You might find another block, but then you keep doing these things, and then you can come back, visit those areas with more experience, and finish that stuff. And that's how I look at it.
Lovely, because that's knocking our heads there is not going to help us. Now, we're coming to Pola Lee. All right. Can you please share your struggles in the early stage career wise? Example like staying up late to keep up with the deadline, the gear tech you use, or just some memorable moments that impacted you the most.
Yes, yeah, I can do that. So in my early days, like when you start a job, right, you want to prove yourself, of course, and you should, because there's a healthy competition going on. You might end up sitting late, and I will agree that I have sat late myself. So what I am telling you to do time management is throughout my years of experience, right? So you don't have to do it right away, but keep a track of it. Don't lose a track of that. I used to sit late, and there was an incident where when I was in advertising, and advertising is crazy. It's crazier than VFX and gaming because in advertising the deadline is 2 days, 4 days, the whole project.
Yes.
So I was in gaming before, and it was okay because it's gaming is fine because it's a long project, so you can keep working throughout the year. But then when I shifted to advertising for some time, and I was like, okay, what's the next project? And my boss comes and says, okay, we have to finish this thing. I said, okay, no problem. What is it? And then when he said, okay, we have 4 days. What? How can we do this in 4 days? So that time I had to sit quite late, maybe even staying in the office. That has happened in my life. We used to stay in office, work as a teenager. I used to like, not teenager, but very early stages actually, where we used to sit late in the office, maybe even play a game or two amongst the friend, and again start working. So that was a phase. That phase goes with everyone. So I don't want everyone to start managing their time from right of the beginning of the career, but they should keep this in mind that at some stage they have to do this. Otherwise, what happens is if you fall into the pit, then it's very difficult to come out. So, and never compare yourself with anyone. So you take your own things, you plan your own things, and that's how you face your own struggles. You cannot compare your struggle with anyone. So even if I tell my struggles, it doesn't make any sense because everyone has to go through the struggles. Even Leroy or Eddie, and everyone. So we just see the good things which we see now. Like after all the struggles have been passed. So yeah, I think everyone should be able to face their own struggles and go ahead and never ever compare your struggles with anyone. So that's my thing.
That's right. Okay, let's move to the next question by Make It Tamil. I don't think they mean that we're going to make this answer in Tamil. But sir, kindly explain on thinking creative in character creation for students who are beginners. How do they think creative?
There is nothing to be thinking creative.
Yeah.
Whatever you create is creative, basically. The thing is, as soon as we start thinking of creating something creative, doesn't make sense actually. But the thing is, you don't have to think out of the box. You just do what you like. Okay, you don't do what others like for you. For this is for my personal projects. I'm saying not the job. The job, of course, what they say you have to do it. But for personal projects, whatever you are good at, it might be sculpting or texturing or animation or whatever. You keep doing it. Creativity is a process. It will come with it. Because when you know how to make a character walk, then if you just make, okay, how can I make him work creatively, or maybe I can put him in a different scenario and something, that's where creativity starts. But for making something creative, you should know your basics very strongly. Like for me, I need to know my anatomy so I can finish my project in 2 weeks. So that's how that NFT thing works. So I do something quickly because I have my experience of 18 years, so I can do things in 2 weeks. But in the beginning, you might take maybe 10 weeks or maybe more. That's fine. So you have to do this step by step. You cannot push yourself or think about creativity. You just do amazing good work what you like, and creativity will come out of it automatically.
That's right. That means don't shortcut the process. Go
Yeah.
through the whole process, and in the
Yes.
meantime, put that foundational practice strong and do the things that you like to do to keep you motivated as well.
Exactly.
Lovely,
Exactly.
lovely. All right. Let's see the next. Oh, I think we've taken this question, which is the art block. Is there another question besides that? It looks like that question got blocked. Now we're gonna navigate it around. Now, where do you get your inspirations from? I'm assuming that Noha over here is talking about in terms of your personal work, or how do you get inspiration to do those work as well?
Uh, Basically, like what happens is when you get a job, you have a certain thing to do in your life, right? For
Hmm.
me, I always wanted to do characters, character designs, creatures, and all those stuff. And as I said, when you get a job, you suddenly realize that you don't get to do it right away. And the only thing that inspires me then is like, okay, I don't have to wait for a character to come through the job. I can create characters using someone's concept art and something like that online. But of course, don't use anyone's concept without their consent. It's very
Hmm.
important that if you can draw yourself, well and good, you can make your own concept, make a 3D, make a project out of it, get inspired. If not, if you think you are inspired by some drawings by some other artist, you can message him saying, I'd like to make a 3D out of this or animation out of this. Or will you give me permission for that? And most of the times, artists are good around the community. They always say, yeah, go ahead, just credit me by saying my name. Okay, this is done by so and this has been translated to 3D. So if you visit my Instagram, has a lot of different types of work. My personal work, I've also done work using others' concept art, which got converted into 3D prints
Hmm.
and collectibles. So there is no particular inspiration. I just keep myself happy. I don't want to chase anything else which I cannot achieve. I want to do something which I can achieve with my limited time. Because when you do a job, you are already very exhausted by the end of the
Hmm.
day. So by pushing yourself more, you're actually not doing anything better. So that's where the time management comes, and you think about, okay, this is what I can achieve in so and so time, go for it. You don't have to think big, think small, and then it starts growing big actually automatically.
Lovely.
So yeah.
That inspiration, it's also to do with like you've mentioned before, it's the passion that you have. Do the things that you like. Start
Yeah.
it small, and even if it takes a longer time,
Yeah.
go through it because it's the process, and
Yeah.
eventually you'll get faster as well.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, so Nabil has another question. Hi, Nabil. Just as you stated earlier about competition, and I'm guessing this is among peers, okay? How do you make your work stand out among the others?
Yeah. So again, this all boils down to the core values, right?
Mm,
Uh, so basically, we should keep things simple. We don't want to make it complex. So in my studio or wherever I work, what I do is, because we are trying to give a service, right? So whenever I do my stuff, I just don't publish it or give it to the next department. I try to communicate. It's like a teamwork. You just cannot say, I've done my stuff and this is done and dusted. So now the texturing guys can take care of it, and I don't care. So what I do is I basically care for other departments. So when I do my work, which is modeling, I
mm,
see that the UVs are good for texturing, the model is good for rigging, and if other department like CFX or other guys wants any help, I go to them, talk with them, discuss about the stuff, and work around it. Because what happens is, it's not just you model it and give it through. If you start helping each other, you stand out automatically. Rishi is the guy I can depend on, basically. Not as maybe just an artist, but he's a person who likes to help everyone. So that's where, a lot of other artists who might be like, oh, they're really good in modeling and sculpting, and they just do their stuff and give it to the other department, but they don't care. And if the other department starts complaining, they will say, okay, we will try and do something like that. And what happens is you're not creating good bonding between departments. So what as an artist you should do is always think about teamwork. So if you're alone, you are still a team. Your mind, your eyes, your hands is a team, right? So you just cannot work with your eyes. You just cannot work with your hands. You need to all work together as a team. Similarly, if you put that in different scenarios, if you go to a job, it's not just you alone working for the whole studio. It's compositing, it's more animation, it's rigging, everything. And you modelers are the first ones who are linked with everyone. And similarly, like texting might be linked with other departments, so it's not just modeling. So if we care about others, they care about us, and that's how we stand up. That's how I feel about it. If you want to do this for a long term, start thinking about this instead of just making yourself like a superstar animator or a sculptor or anything. You try to keep yourself down and help everyone grow together.
And that's really, I think, the core of understanding the role as an artist as well. It's not that we are an island of our own, but really we need that teamwork, because as the whole film is a team project. It's and these are the core values that really build in terms of improving ourselves as well, because we start to realize as we communicate with other departments, we learn things from them that we might have missed out, and we become
Yes.
better at it. I can see that beautiful link happening here. Now, guys, we only have time for another two more questions. We'll just pull out pretty quick. And this is a question from Anne. How do you train yourself to be self-disciplined, sir? Wow, self-discipline.
Yeah, the self-discipline comes from if you want to achieve something, you have to push yourself and make yourself disciplined. There's no other way, for sure. And if you read books of people who have already achieved a lot of stuff, you will see a common thing. A common thing is time management and discipline. Because if you have time in your hand, you can do stuff. If you have discipline in your hand, you can differentiate yourself from others. So there are so many good sculptors, animators, modelers running for this job, right? But then what makes you stand out is how you present yourself. Even in your interview, right? What happens is it's not always about how good your work is. It's about what you think about a studio or the work. They might ask you questions like, what do you think about teamwork? What do you think about the time management thing? This might be questions which might come up in an interview. It might puzzle you, but they want to just see your attitude. You might say, no, I like to work alone. I want to do my stuff full 100% and this and that. But if you're not talking about team, you're not talking about discipline, you're not talking about time management, it doesn't help you in your interview as well. So this self-discipline should come not as a force, but as an enjoyment. Because if you can do this from the beginning, things will start falling in place, right? So if you don't have discipline, that's why you start complaining that, okay, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, for many reasons, right? Because if someone might say that, oh, Rishi, you can do stuff because you get time and you're not struggling in life or you don't have problems. No, as I said, everyone on earth has problems,
Yes.
different problems, but you tackle it differently, basically, and that tackling can happen only with discipline. It's very tough in the beginning. You need to get habituated to that. It's like exactly like going to gym. In the beginning, you feel I don't want to go to gym because it's boring and I don't see the results. But the persistence of doing that, and once you see the result, okay, what I was doing was right, my discipline was right, and I want to now keep this forever and maybe even help others. That's why when you asked me to do this session, I was so happy because I want to share this knowledge to as much audience as possible, so that whatever struggle I might have, like learning how to make myself self-disciplined or focused or time management, I could share this with a lot of people, and hopefully I can save their time in their coming years.
Yes, definitely. And the one that I really picked up is the tenacity, keep doing, keep moving forward, keep that positive mindset and working together with people. I think that culminates together very well. Now, Rishi, I think we're coming to a close to the end of the session. All right. So I just want to thank you once again for joining us as well. And really being a good sport at this session, really sharing your life experience, really opening up to us as well in terms of how you approach the struggles and wanting to share that knowledge with others as well. Now, for those who and I would encourage everyone to follow Rishi on his Instagram. I think it was dropped in a while ago, and it will be up on the screen in a bit as well. Please do follow Rishi, and some of the time lapse works that he has that we've shown today are also available there, and also some others as well, as I remember. Okay, do support him in NFT as well if you're interested, because I think that's a beautiful place. And thank you very much to all our audience for today as well. Okay, thank you for the questions, the support, and really the love that you guys have as well. All right, I do hope we can catch you again, Rishi, on another session, or maybe when you drop into Malaysia, or we have the opportunity to visit you in the UK.
Yeah.
When things are better.
You're welcome.
All right. So thank you very much. And so for those who have joined us today as well, don't forget, you'll be emailed your e-certificate after you have left you've answered to the feedback on this link right down here. Please feedback to us so that we can also understand what kind of content in terms of topics that we would like to roll out next as well. So thank you again, Rishi, and hope to catch you sometime soon. Take care.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.